Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the 1-year anniversary show of the Dan Banchero Show. I'm your host, one of the friendliest, most understanding, reasonable guys you're ever going to meet, Dan Banchero. So yeah, we're celebrating 1 year of the Dan Banchero Show only on YouTube, and I can't believe it's been a year since I started this project that really had no exact vision. First, my idea was to only use certain topics, and after a few weeks I decided to incorporate the events of my life through a timeline and expose some of the literature that I've come across in relation to these events. I've been very rewarded by taking time to incorporate the wisdom of the authors and speakers that in creating outlines and creating essays to share in regards to my life with all of you who take time to view the show. And I don't see any end in sight right now. So, every couple of weeks I'm going to come out with a new one. And after this 1-year anniversary show, we're going to get into the timeline again, back to 2014. But, hey, you know how many people over the years told me that I needed a hobby? Well, this is what I came up with. This is the best I got. Besides, Oakland A's baseball, of course. But I want to thank all of you who've watched over the course of the past year. I hope you've enjoyed these segments one way or another, whether it's for entertainment value, hearing the silly stories and all the hell I put myself through, or if you just like the readings that we came up with, or if you like the ideas of the whole character change concept, and maybe it's helped you with some things. I don't know. I also want to thank all of you who stopped watching and may have criticized me for doing this project. So it's all good. It's all love, man. And I don't know. This show has kept me inspired. It's kept me in spirit, and it continues to help me grow spiritually and keep my mind right. And thus, it saves my life. So that's my take on it. Anyway, so the show has been about love and good intentions. Okay, not ego. Now, I know sometimes it may be really hard to kind of trust my intentions. I'm not naive. I know the image that I put out on social media. I'm a fun-loving guy. I kind of fool around, with the costumes and the silly videos and all the stuff that I do. And it's easy to criticize and kind of judge or be skeptical of my intentions of having my own little show for fun. And but I can assure you that I feel better. And all I want is for all of you to feel a little bit better when you get done watching each show. And maybe we'll see another year of this. Who knows? God only knows. So, the purpose of my show is to expose the character that I was and express the character that I am now. So for me, it's easy for me to go on Facebook and Instagram, do videos, do pictures, smile, paint this picture like everything's all good. Well, it wasn't always like that. And sometimes it still isn't always like that. In the past month, I've had some challenging situations in business and personal relationships, friendships, sexual relationships. And, I have some fears. I have some disappointments. I don't have any resentments because through these concepts that I've talked about over the past year and how they helped me, they all stem from one higher power, and that's love. And that's what I'm going to get into today. And so I want to start off really quick with a few of the definitions of love. 1, an intense feeling of deep affection. 2, a great interest and pleasure in something. 3, feel a deep romantic or sexual attachment to someone. 4, a deep and enduring emotional regard, usually for another human being. So love's defined in many different ways. It's expressed in many different ways. So I want to go really quick to 1 Corinthians 13, verses 1 through 3. And this is from the Oxford Group, one of their pamphlets on absolute love. If I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, but have no love, I am become sounding brass or a clanging cymbal. And if I have the gift of prophecy and know all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith, so as to remove mountains, but have not love, I am nothing. And if I bestow all my good to feed the poor, And if I give my body to be burned, but have not love, it profiteth me nothing. Now, I know the language is a little bit hard to read. You might have to read it for yourself, but that's from 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 1 and 3, or 1 through 3. And that's from the Oxford group. They share that in their pamphlet. So many people misinterpret the phrase, I love you. Many people also misuse the phrase, I love you. Many people express their love in the wrong way, and many people receive love in the wrong way. So we really need to pay attention to the way we use the word love in everyday situations with people, or maybe just with certain people. It can be misleading without even the intent to be misleading or to deceive. We don't know what people have gone through in their life, so we got to be very careful with the word love at the same time, even though we have good intent. Some people may be so desperate for affection, and we don't even know it. Some people may have been completely neglected over the years altogether, and we don't even realize it. Some people express their love to others in a manipulative way in order to get something, and that's not love, obviously. So, love's tricky, man. We learn it in different ways, and I know I have over the years through life experiences, the way I behaved, and the way I wasn't really in charge of my life as much as I thought I was. Now, it's okay for two people to have a strong feeling of affection for another, even in early stages of a relationship, especially if they truly enjoy the way they feel when they're together. So it's important to make that understood that it's okay. It's my understanding that my grandparents got engaged on their first date. So you take that for whatever you want. They were together for quite a few years. So most of the time when I use the phrase I love you, it's an appreciation of a characteristic of a person, okay? Or maybe I love the experiences I have with the person or the way I feel when they're present, okay? This may be at home, it may be at work, it may be at school, it could be in friendships, in personal or sexual relationships or partnerships. So I see and I use the word I love you quite frequently in everyday society. And sometimes it's used haphazardly, and it's not really sincere sometimes. So, you see, when I feel good, I'm feeling God. And for me, if I'm feeling God, I'm feeling love, okay? So love just happens to be the topic of this episode, especially how I've learned to love in recovery. And I was privileged to give a talk last Saturday night in Fremont in front of about 50 people, a good friend of mine, Molly B. And when it was my turn to speak, I had mentioned that anything that I've ever been rewarded with in my life has stemmed from the principles that I've spoken of in previous episodes on this show. They all stem from the highest power for me, which my belief is love, okay? So there's a great love power in the simple action of a smile that is sincere and a hello, how are you doing when you look somebody in the eye. I receive love when I get that back. It reciprocates. And it feels good when I do it sincerely, okay? Eye contact's important, like I said. Not one of these half-assed hellos and, I'm good and all the, nice try. We're not always all good. It's casual, sincere hellos, eye contact, and smiles. That's where I'm feeling love. That's where I'm giving love. So I got to be very careful with that too. And I check myself if I catch myself giving these half-ass, greetings, let's say. So that and only that has gotten me so far in life, as far as success in relationships, but also mending relationships. So I got this pamphlet here, this Absolute Love from the Oxford group. And on page 63, it says, absolute love is the motive power for absolute honesty, purity, and unselfishness. We can have none of those qualities in their absolute without absolute love. If we have absolute love for God, we have all those qualities for the world. We can be paragons of the righteousness, but if we have not love, we are spiritually lifeless. Love begets love, and our active love today will go on spreading over life into the far future like the circles upon a lake when we throw in a stone. Love uplifts us more than any other quality. It is the color of the pattern of earthly existence. People are gradually realizing that mind more important than and can be as substantial in its effect as matter. Absolute love transcends everything. It envelops the world, but the world will not see it. Absolute love is the language of God in truth and perfection. Okay? That's a very, very strong statement, and I encourage you to read it over. If you need reference or how to find it, I will direct you. All right. So, I don't mean to say this in an arrogant way or cocky way. Again, I know how I can come off speaking with a lot of bravado, speaking with a lot of arrogance, cocksureness. I encourage you to look up the word confident. I encourage you to look up the word conviction, because that's how I feel I'm speaking, because I know for a fact that this stuff works when you sincerely apply it and you mean it in your everyday life, okay? I don't work hard. I'm successful. I've worked long hours at many jobs for many years, at many challenging jobs. But I wasn't successful without the application of certain principles in certain situations. These principles are descendants of love. Okay? Working in restaurants, in the phone company, and now in the sales career and food distribution, I've been exposed to how entitled a world that we live in. Okay? There's entitlement everywhere. Whether it's front of house service or back of house production or employees in those areas, it doesn't matter if it's management of all levels. Doesn't mean if it's delivery drivers, chefs, baristas, customers, or guests. I have been a part of demand and hostility, okay? I had to learn love the hard way in tough situations through principles in the workforce, okay? Sometimes I feel like nobody's aware of how selfish a world we live in. I know some people are, but sometimes it feels like absolutely nobody is. So, now that I got a better awareness of myself and of my own history, of harmful thoughts, beliefs, and decisions, I can apply principles of forgiveness, understanding, patience, tolerance, right? These all stem from love. If you really think about it, think about those qualities I just mentioned. Forgiveness, understanding, patience, and love. They have some form of, and tolerance. Those four have some type of love inside them. Okay, they stem from love. But again, it takes a little bit of time and analysis. It can be very therapeutic. Do some journaling. All right, so guests, customers, people in general, they frequently believe they are victims. Okay, they act as if they are forced into a restaurant or any other business at gunpoint to spend their money and their time for particular services, okay? After a review of my conduct over the years, I could see where I felt like a victim if someone put a gun to my head to apply, clock in, or start at these positions, or stay at these positions. This is the United States, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody's got to do anything. Welcome to the United States. I don't know if you turned on the news lately, okay? We all have choices. We all have choices. No matter how much consequence there is or risk there is, we all have choices. No more victims, okay? I'm telling you this with love. Some people feel stuck like they can't do anything. You got a choice, let me tell you. Many times I wanted to help out hostile managers or other employees, but they were at a point in their life where they weren't able to accept my help, my love, okay? Or, they had pride, fear, or ego, or rigidness, or entitlement, again. Those were usually the cases in these scenarios, okay? I wasn't able to comprehend why coworkers acted the way they did. I was taking too much time to try to figure it out and understand, okay? I wanted to be understood why I was trying to help. Now, through my own suffering and self-appraisals over the years, it's easier to handle these situations now, okay? And get through the pain. And love these people and love these experiences now for teaching me. Some people have so much pride and fear of being helped, they either don't ask for it when they need it, or they feel insulted when it's offered. Like, I'm no idiot. Okay. I had to learn to give these people their space. Let them have their way in the workplace. Okay. This acceptance and intolerance stems from love. I don't want to get in the way of anybody else having to learn a lesson. I had to learn lessons. People got out of my way and let me do what I had to do. Okay. It was through love. We might not see it all the time, but it's through love. All right. I want to go to The Mastery of Love by Don Miguel Ruiz. I've quoted this book a couple times. Again, this was a gift earlier this year by one of my ex-lovers. So let's see. We're going to go to page 61. This is a fantastic read. He's a great author altogether. Easy, simple, small reads. Mind-blowing. All right, 61. This is from The Track of Love, The Track of Fear chapter. Okay. Love is completely responsible. Fear avoids responsibility. But this doesn't mean that it's not responsible. Trying to avoid responsibility is one of the biggest mistakes we make because every action has a consequence. Everything we think, everything we do has a consequence. If we make a choice, we have an outcome or reaction. If we don't make a choice, we have an outcome or a reaction. We are going to experience the consequence of our actions in one way or another. That is why every human being is completely responsible for his actions, even if he doesn't want to be. Other people can try to pray for your mistakes, but you will pay for your mistakes anyway. And then you pay double. When others try to be responsible for you, it only creates a bigger drama. Love is always kind. Fear is always unkind. Love is generous. Fear is selfish. It is only about me. Selfishness closes all the doors. Those are some strong statements there by Mr. Ruiz. Okay. Now today I'm able to see why I was able to get so much support from my friends and family over the years. Growing up as a kid and a teenager, I hated excluding others. Okay. I disliked bullies. I got along with many different kids from many different backgrounds. Okay? Ask anybody. Yes, we had times where we all picked on each other. You know, we teased each other. We flipped each other's desks. You know, at St. Dunstan's, I remember we'd flip each other's desks and mess up their desks and slap somebody in the back of the head or whatever we'd do, you know. But I was also able to take it. And my ability to blend in with different crowds carried over into my 20s and 30s, okay? So Ruiz continues on page 102, this time from the Magical Kingdom chapter. What makes you happy is love coming out of you. And if you are generous with your love, everyone is going to love you. You are never going to be alone if you are generous. If you are selfish, you are always going to be alone. And there is no one to blame but you. Your generosity will open all the doors, not your selfishness. So there was times where I was overly generous. People thought I was getting taken advantage of, and that may be true. I may have been a codependent. That's also very true. However, the intent of generosity, whether it was to be liked or not, that was the love that I was putting out, and I eventually would receive it. Yes, some people took advantage. Yes, people didn't have the best of intentions. But they were only doing what they knew up until that point of their lives. And now I'm able to forgive those people and not hold grudges, okay? Things happen. I found out through doing self-appraisals and surveying my past that I've been a taker my entire life. I've been a liar my entire life. Somewhat of a manipulator, okay? It's just a part of the human experience. And that's it. I see now that even though I didn't understand, agree, or enjoy many behaviors or beliefs of my friends over the years, I had bonds with them for what I appreciated or liked about them, okay? Discarding what I didn't care about more times than not, okay? That's why I've been able to hold on to relationships, okay? Now I see this as a type of acceptance and tolerance. It's a form of love, unless it was some type of a harmful form of codependency. Sometimes we have that silent approval. We don't say things. We don't have the tough conversations because we're entitled to the easy way. We don't want to be the pest. We don't want to be the one to break the bad news. Sometimes we've had relationships, well, I know I have, where people don't take criticism very well and they just don't want to listen, and they get aggressive and they get hurtful when you approach them with something that you feel that they might want to change. And even though there's love in it, we do set ourselves up to be hurt. So we got to be very careful with that. I know I have. People start telling you you're full of shit and all this. This is fine. I'm not suffering anymore. All right. So as my addictions progressed in my late 20s and early 30s, I learned love through boundaries set by my friends. Okay? They didn't know what else to do with me. And I've said this over and over again. It's very repetitive. I understand some of this. But you know what? My consequences were repetitive, and now I feel better for talking about it over and over and over again. Plus, we might have some new viewers. Anyway, they didn't know what else to do with me, and they have their own lives to live. They had their own goals. They had their own families they were starting, okay? They wanted to help, right? But, I don't know. My weaknesses in my character would continue to make my efforts fail, okay? They would overpower my strengths. And eventually I'd become an inconvenience or a liability to my friends and my family in many times, you know? So the phone would ring less for me. My calls and messages were often not returned or answered. I was a burden. This is what some people like to call tough love. I don't necessarily like that term because it's kind of played out and overly used. But I'm trying to speak a language you'll understand. So all the codependence and safety nets had to vanish for me, or I wasn't going to change. I wasn't going to heal, whether it was the hard way or the easy way or whatever. If these safety nets and boundaries weren't removed and set, I might have never found love, what I have today, okay? In regards to relationships with women, I've admitted time and time again that we both played parts in the failure or inability to grow in certain relationships over the years, okay? As far as my part is concerned, I can forgive and accept the recent relationships that have not materialized in the past 2 years of my time being clean and sober, off of drugs and alcohol, okay? I have to feel my feelings now. I can handle situations more maturely, all right? I might not always understand why people are acting the way they're acting or why they're handling a situation the way they're handling it. But again, we as human beings are only acting out as far as much as what we know or what we're able to do at a certain time. I've been confused. I've had my feelings hurt. I've had some fears for others' well-being. But it's just a part of the human condition. It's all good. I don't know what's going to happen in the upcoming years of my life, but as long as I'm aligned with love, I don't have to figure things out. I mean, I'd like to know, you know, but it's the way it is. The only way that I'm able to say that I learned love from failed relationships was through my own self-examination. I have no regrets of the past in regards to the women I pursued, dated, had one-night stands with, or even flirted with, or had the idea of potential relationships with. Now, let's say 15 years ago, I had this self-centered ego. I was very quick-witted, especially if I've been drinking. Unhelpful statements in regards to failed relationships or maybe women who didn't want to be with me or whatever it was. I'd say something like, oh, why be with Dan Banchero? Go fun places, eat at expensive and delicious restaurants, see beautiful views, be given multiple orgasms in less than 18 minutes, laugh frequently and feel good. I mean, you only live once, you know? But on the other hand, I can always stop by 7-Eleven, you know, pick up a Red Box DVD, flop out on some rented furniture of mine, order up a large pepperoni and a bucket of wings from the Domino's down the street with my Safeway receipt that has a coupon on the back of it, and then binge watch some Netflix, go to bed with my vibrator because my new man is too full from the pizza and too stoned out of his mind from his medicinal marijuana to fix me or make love to me. You only live once. Why would I be with Dan Banchero? See, now, as funny and sarcastic as that might be to some of you, it's how I live life, and it's how I would think. And when you're loaded or coked out, some of this stuff might seem very entertaining in the mind, but it's not helpful. It's sarcastic. It's egotistical. It's self-centered, and those type of jokes and statements aren't aligned with love. Okay. And you see these kinds of things in everyday television, movies, stand-up comedy. Yes, it's a laugh, but it may even be the truth. But it's not helpful to the human race. And I'm able to identify these things nowadays. So now I know there's probably a few women watching this show that I've had relationships or sexual encounters with or just good times with. And, we had our moments, okay? And you've probably seen past episodes on YouTube. And maybe we were under the influence and had one-night stands, or, maybe we just flirted with the notion of hooking up. Maybe you're one of my little secrets that, we never revealed to the public or anybody else. I know you're out there, all right? And maybe you were considering dating me at some point, but based on my behavior over the years and the kind of guy that I was, you didn't think I was worth the risk, and I don't blame you. I was a derelict. I was a degenerate. I was unfaithful. I was not trustworthy, and I was completely irresponsible. So of course you wouldn't date me. It's all good. I have love for you for setting that boundary and not going there with me. You did yourself a favor at many times in my life, depending on where I was at. Some of you might have just used me for a good time and got your own personal gains out of it. I love you too. Thank you for teaching me what I needed to learn over the years. So I'm aware that my conduct and how I present myself have made it very hard to either take me seriously or trust me. Okay? So to all of you women who know me, who I haven't made time to sit down and talk to about my past, make amends to you, if I have wronged you and I'm not even aware of it, I want you to know that I know the behavior that I've had over the past. And for the most part, I've written down all of your names. And if you think I'm talking about you, I am. All of your names are down on a piece of paper somewhere. And it's all been addressed. I didn't leave anybody out. I've done my life history over and over and over and over again. And just so you know, if you wronged me, I forgive you. I hope you forgive me if I've pissed you off or if I've harmed you in the past, because I'm aware of it. And I love you for all the experiences we've ever had over the years. Take it or leave it. I'm dead serious. And I know you're all out there somewhere. And even if you're not watching this show, I'm putting that energy out and I'm exposing myself for what I was. And I love you, every one of you women, for the experiences we've had and what you've taught me over the years. And I'm a better man than I used to be. That I know for a fact. Anyway, let's go to the Mastery Love one more time. We're going to go to page 151 at the bottom. I have so much stuff highlighted in this book, I can get lost easily. All right, this is from Seen with the Eyes of Love, page 151. The only difference between the beauty of one person and the beauty of another is the concept of beauty that people have. Beauty is nothing but a concept, nothing but a belief, but you can believe in that concept of beauty and base all your power on that beauty. You are what you believe you are. There's nothing to do except just be just what you are. You have the right to feel beautiful and enjoy it. You don't need anyone to love you. All right. So I've harmed women unintentionally. I've harmed women intentionally with my words and my actions over the years. Okay? I was not aligned with love. I am in the wrong for these things. And if we hadn't had a one-on-one conversation, like I said, I assure you that I know of what I've done. Okay? And I do not intend on being that man anymore. If I've ever justified my words or actions because I was upset with you, I no longer am. Okay? Things may have worked out if I was at a different stage of my life, or maybe if you were at a different stage of your life. There's a lot of situations where there was no conflict. It's just where we were at. Okay. We weren't ready to be in a relationship. Things were happening, especially with me. All right. We're all just learning how to live life through the events of our lives, and it's okay. All right. It's all good. We got to just move forward and not hold grudges. And this world could be so much better. So much better. All right. I want to go back to 139 here in relation to a couple of things. All right. This is from the Divine Huntress in Mastery of Love. Usually humans go into relationships as the hunter. They look for what they feel they need, hoping to find what they need in the other person, only to find that it's not there. When you enter a relationship without this need, it's a different story. So this includes, all right, any of the women in the history of my life. Again, this includes acquaintances and rehabilitation centers or in recovery, okay? Friends, lovers, girlfriends, co-workers, random hookups, drug-addicted street hookers, online prostitutes. I love all of you for what you taught me over the years. Okay? Now, some of you might think I'm out of my mind for talking like this and exposing myself. It's fine. It's fine. I'm just trying to save my life and show people that we have the ability to change our minds and thus change our life through love. Okay? I thank all of you women, again, for who you were and who you are today. And that's it. So, Mastery of Love taught me a lot of things. And there's a lot of people, especially in recovery and in addiction, while they're active in addiction, in search of the perfect relationship. And on page 85 through 87 in Mastery of Love, the chapter of the perfect relationship, Ruiz says this: relationship is an art. The dream that two create is more difficult to master than one. To keep the two of you happy, you have to keep your half perfect. You are responsible for your half, and your half has a certain amount of garbage. Your garbage is your garbage. The one who has to deal with that garbage is you, not your partner. If your partner tries to clean your garbage, she is going to end up with a broken nose. We have to learn not to put our nose where no one wants it. And at the same time, with your partner's half, your partner has a certain amount of garbage. Knowing your partner has garbage, you allow her to deal with her own garbage. You're going to love her and accept her with all of her garbage. You are going to respect her garbage. You are not in the relationship to clean your partner's garbage. She is going to clean her own. In the same way, if you are down and she is happy, her happiness is your support. For your own sake, let her be happy. Don't even try to take her happiness away. Whatever happens in your work, don't come home and throw your poison at her. Be silent and let her know it's nothing personal. You're just dealing with yourself. You can say, keep being happy, keep playing, and I will join you when I can enjoy your happiness. Right now, I need to be alone. Right now, I need to be alone. And that's something I've had to accept. So, before I close, I want to read the Hua Hu Cheng, the Unknown Teachings of Lao Tzu, verse 51. I love this. What a hobby. I never would have thought 10 years ago that I'd be doing something like this. All right, this is on page 63, verse 51 of the Hua Hu Cheng. Those who want to know the truth of the universe should practice the four cardinal virtues. The first is reverence for all life. This manifests as unconditional love and respect for oneself and all other beings. The second is natural sincerity. This manifests as honesty, simplicity, and faithfulness. The third is gentleness. This manifests as kindness, consideration for others, and sensitivity to spiritual truth. The fourth is supportiveness. This manifests as service to others without expectation of reward. The four virtues are not external dogma, but a part of your own nature, your original nature. When practiced, they give birth to wisdom and evoke the 5 blessings: health, wealth, happiness, longevity, and peace. So now that my friends, family, and viewers, though thanks to them, I found love. Thanks to my friends, family, viewers, co-workers, lovers, hookups, whatever, acquaintances. I found love through all of you and all of our experiences together. You know what you've experienced with me if you're watching. We've had some type of encounter. We can learn from each other. Take any relationship stuff that we went through, whether you're my friend, coworker, family member, anything we've gone through. Take the good and the bad and what did you learn out of it, and then apply those same things to something in your daily life going on right now. And I guarantee you will find some aspect of love, some principle of love that can be applied. I'm telling you, this is the real McCoy, man. This is how it goes. So in my next episode, I'm going to get back to 2014. I'm going to get back to the mess again, who I was, where I'm at today. Have a little fun with it. You will laugh, and some of you will cry. Part 4 of 2014, next time on the Dan Banchero Show, only on YouTube. I don't know, man. Just remember, what you see be exposed on social media with the pictures and the videos and having a good time. I know some of you might be thinking, this guy's narcissistic and yada, yada, yada. There's a purpose for all this. If you're down and out, if you feel like you're screwed, if you're not having fun, if you're not enjoying life, if you're miserable, if you're disgruntled with somebody, if you're holding a grudge against a family member or somebody else at work or whatever, if you learn how to forgive, if you learn how to take responsibility for your life, you can feel love again. And instead of feeling sorry for yourself and not experiencing life, I want you to go out and have as much fun as I'm having. I have good relationships today. And I love everybody who's a part of my life today, good and bad. Even the things I don't accept, the things I don't understand, it doesn't matter. That's why I have the St. Francis prayer. That's why I have the Serenity prayer. That's why I have my fellowship. There's a reason I shot this episode on love in this room at 1133 Eaton Avenue. This is where I get the most love. There's 2 places in my life that I've gotten the most love. And that's at 540 Broadway for 17 years at Leonardo's Cafe and 1133 Eaton Avenue here in San Carlos. The clubhouse by the creek, baby. So it all intertwines. So here's the feeling good all the time. I love you. We'll see you next time.